Hello, I'm Tamara and welcome to Tams PsychAdvice. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk to you about ENTP's unique qualities, and I just want to hit on a couple of things. I'm sure there's millions of others, but I can always do another video later, right? So these are just some things that just popped into my head. Sometimes they have a unique slant on things and it can be their very own. It may not be across the board for every ENTP, but they definitely tap into their own uniqueness. For example, I was listening to an ENTP say that as a kid, he loved school supplies. He was just obsessed with them. Like he sank his teeth to them. He liked a perfect piece of paper with no creases and no wrinkles, and he had to have a certain type of pen, and then he was just ready to write and just go crazy with his writing. So that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you talk to every ENTP in the world, there's going to be a place like that that's special to them, that's unique to them, that they really tap into. This also reminds me of a girl that I used to know who, whenever it was time for her to do presentations for her organization or a small talk or speak before a congregation, she would always iron her socks. And I just think that's so fascinating, right? I mean, but what does that tell you about her? It meant that she was going that deep into what she was doing. She wasn't partially in, it meant she was all in. She was going to do exceedingly above all that was expected of her in that presentation. So they get very excited about things. And now they don't all iron their socks and their hats. I'm sure most of them do not do that. But that's just an example of sometimes ENTPs have something unique that they do, or something that's special that sort of sets them apart in certain situations. So they get excited about things, about new things, and they also like it when they can make an impact in some way. Even if it's one-on-one impact, it doesn't even have to be a large crowd, although a lot of times it can be a large crowd. I recently also heard an ENTP say, in his early 30s, say, "I'm ready for the gray hair. I'm ready for the wisdom." Now, gray hair currently, as I'm making this video, is trendy for teenagers. So it's a trendy thing, but he just meant his natural gray hairs. He's ready for them to come in. So they can be very convicted by certain principles, beliefs, and values, and they will give you advice and live their life while driven by those certain principles. They form new ideas and opinions as they speak. So you can see them gaining momentum as they go. It's almost like if you were watching a movie and you're getting to the height or the climax of the movie. They really gather their thoughts and new ideas and organize what they believe and how they feel as they're speaking. And I think they can even surprise themselves, like, wow, I didn't even know I knew that. How did I come up with that? I really love it when ENTPs tap into their people helping mode. I find that so appealing personally. Sometimes they jump right in, but a lot of times you have to get past a certain point with them, and then bam, they're in a zone. They go into their flow, or that zone where they can really give you great advice and tap into their insight, their wisdom. And that wisdom and insight is really hard to beat, and it's hard to emulate. It's sort of a ENTP thing. It has its own rhythm, its own trendiness, its own appeal, its own status. It's just amazing. They can be intoxicating and engaging speakers, and they can be great helpers and solvers of problems. They don't always want to play it safe. So that's another interesting thing about ENTPs. They kind of like to live on the edge in some way or another. They want to take risks. They believe that the best way to be successful is you got to maximize your unique creativity, whatever that may be. An ENTP said, even if you're creating something new from peanut butter or sewing something, then just do it. Make your own creation. Create something out of what's been created. They have a full engine of things that they can do so that if they ever lose their job, they have other ideas in their arsenal. They like to live that way. They like to have something in their back pocket. They don't want to just live a life playing it so safe that they don't find interest that can sustain them monetarily or hobby-wise. So they usually have organizations or talents they develop to make a living or to make life enjoyable. Some of them may spend a lifetime tinkering with never-ending projects that that may never completely take off, but they receive great satisfaction from. But others are extremely lucky in that they tap into a talent or a gift or a career that they absolutely love, and they just flourish and they just take it to new levels. Sometimes they can know so much more than they even know that they know that it can be surprising to them. Like they are a well of knowledge. You could probably take notes when they're talking. They get adrenaline rushes and feed off of other people, even when they claim to be more introverted than extroverted. Things come to them as they're conversating. A flood of thoughts comes forth, and they make so much sense. They can really make a lot of sense out of life. Like the grains of sand, they can take one of those grains of sand and create meaning out of it. So it's wonderful soaking up their knowledge. A few months ago, I was in a stuck place and I didn't feel like I needed counseling. I just felt like I needed a really, really, really great conversation. So who did I call? An ENTP. And I haven't been in that mental space since. They got me out of it, just like I knew that they would. And I didn't even have to say, hey, I'm having this problem. I kind of told them at the end, but I just knew if I just start, they're gonna navigate, and we're gonna travel to someplace new, and we're gonna unlock some things and uncover some stuff, and it's just gonna be great. And you just come out with a like you've traveled somewhere, or like you've gained a new sense of self. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Like as an ENFJ, NFs, we're always seeking or searching for the self in some sense. And when you talk to them, they take you, they can introduce you to a new self or a new portion of who you are. They can bring it out, and so it's so great. So I would recommend that if you're at a point of struggle in your life, find an ENTP, and they will take you in and out of new depths. They speak in acronyms, a lot of them. Sometimes they play with language. They capitalize on the poetry in their lingo. They may have developed their own rhythm and style of effective speech and making points, because that's what they want to do. They want to make points. They want to make an impact. They want to take you to a new level. They can be word people. They will take you from the problem. This is kind of like their style in some ways, okay? So they may take you from the problem to the cause, to the solution. That's kind of their mental goal. So they can be natural teachers in that sense. They use techniques in their own unique style to be able to articulate their message. They can also be very spiritual and connected with God, which is how they can also take you to greater depths. So like if you believe in the Holy Spirit, they tap into that and they can go deep. They are comfortable with being uncomfortable. That could be their mantra. I'll say that again. They are comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is something that most people run from, but they love it. You don't grow in your comfort zone, you grow in challenges. That's their train of thinking. They will often say they don't do small talk, but if you hit them with something intriguing, they can talk for hours on whether the earth is flat or round. Haha. They can talk for hours or days when intrigued. So if you know anything unique about ENTPs, or you're an ENTP and there's some unique lane that you travel in, then comment below, please, so that we can all learn from that. And check out my link below if you'd like a pinship. There goes again my new word. But ENTPs might like that. I make pinship pins. They're really friendship pins, right? But they're pinship pins. So if you would like one, check out the link below. Be sure to share this video with ENTPs and people that you want to understand you better. And remember to subscribe, because you never know when I might come out with a new video and you want to be in on it. So thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye.